The world out there is huge, but somehow we only ever see a small part of it. Have you ever wondered, what if we put all of our little observations together? What kind of picture would that create? I'm Javi, and you're listening to From Mind to Mic. This is a space where young voices are heard, honestly, openly, and without judgment. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and come with us as we explore the rhythm of society through the eyes of our generations. Let's get started. Now, before we dive in, let's talk about a phrase that usually sounds like it belongs in a boring boardroom: personal branding. Most people think it's all about professional headshots, LinkedIn resumes, or trying to act like a mini CEO. But let's be real. Personal branding, it's basically just the vibe you project before you even open your mouth. It's your digital fingerprint, your aesthetics, and your reputation all rolled into one. Today, we're peeling back the aesthetic filters to see what it actually takes to build a profile when you're still figuring out who you are. To help us figure out how to build our online personality, let me introduce y'all to Khánh Phương, a teen influencer who has gone viral for her helpful English content across media platforms. Thank you so much for joining me today in this episode about personal branding. So Khánh Phương, can you tell us who you are? Give us the stats, your age, your academic flexes if you want, and what your life is like now when you're internet famous.
Well, hello, V, and to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for having me to this podcast. It was a pleasure. And to start off, well, for me personally, I'm just gonna introduce myself. Well, I'm Khánh Phương, and you guys probably know me through my nickname, which is Teo, and I'm around 16 years old. I'm currently a 10th grader at Chenfu Gifted High School. And for me personally, I've been into content creation for as long as I can remember. It was like probably a long time ago. And beside content creation, of course, I also have other interests, which is sports, swimming, debating, and I'm just a normal student who loves school and loves hanging out with my friends as well. And to participate in this podcast on the topic of personal branding, I also hope to hopefully share some interesting insights with our lovely host and probably answer some questions with the audiences as well.
Wow, I'm actually flabbergasted. 16 years old and a content creator. I could never do that when I was your age. And it's honestly impressive because most of us are just scrollers on the internet. We are out here just watching others people live, but you're the one creating them. So what was the exact moment you decided to stop watching and start posting online?
Well, that was an interesting question. I mean, like, I started my journey pretty out of the blue, I remembered. I was around in sixth or seventh grade, and at that time, I just started posting content mostly for fun because like at that time, I was in an English community, and a lot of like parents and other students who are also interested in English also want me to share some knowledge. So I started posting these content mostly for, for fun, out of my own interest. And over time, I discovered something interesting. I mean, like, I just discovered other types of platforms, which is on TikTok or Facebook. So over time, like, I think it was around eighth grade when a lot of other viewers started to notice me, and I started to acquire, like, amass more followers over time. And I feel like this is more than just a habit. Of course, it is still my own interest, but it extends beyond just creating videos. It's also about influencing others, and it's also about how my words or my views, my perception, or my viewpoints also affect other viewers as well. So I think it was around 8th or ninth grade that I started to take this journey more seriously. And with the support of my families and personally myself, I really want to, share this journey, this authentic journey with a lot of other viewers. So I think it is at that time that I started to, it's not just about creating, but it's also about how I kind of like show myself online, like my online self as well.
I agree that youngsters nowadays they mostly post content out of the blue and they did not expect it to blow up one day. So looking back, every creator has that first cringe and cheesy video. When you look back at your earliest content, do you see a different person or was the seed of your current channel already there?
Well, of course, I believe throughout this journey, I have definitely changed or transformed. I think transform is not the exact word, but yeah, indeed, I think I've become more matured than the past. I've come to realize that, you know, to create videos and post them online, it's no longer about my own interest. Of course, that's also one factor, but I also have to do deeper research, more responsibility come along this journey as well. So looking back at my, old videos, I feel like, yeah, it's not that cringe or cheesy, but I would say that I'm a completely different person now. So I believe that from those videos in the past, I have learned a lot from those other videos. And until now, I believe that it is also just, a continuous journey that I've taken. So, yeah, that's my take on that interesting question.
It's lovely when you look back the journey with grace and pride. And it's also insane to think what started as a personal interest turned into this whole digital world that you have built. But that's the thing about a personal brand. It's not just about the moment you start, it's actually about the vibe you decide to keep. And Kang Phương, if you had to sum it up, how would you describe the version of yourself you created on the internet in just 3 words?
Well, I think that 3 words would not be quite enough for me to actually describe my entire self. I don't think I would actually describe myself as any specific word since I believe that each person is actually authentic or unique in their own ways. But if I actually have to choose, I would say that for me personally, it would be number one, authentic. Since unlike other influencers, what I try to do is I try to create as authentic and raw content as possible. It may be like unedited, but that's what I feel about my content creation journey. And the second word would be friendly, since I feel like going online, I want to present the best version of myself to all of the other viewers. And lastly is inquisitive. I want others to see me as someone who are always willing to explore new concepts, learn new things, and deliver, authentic content online. And most importantly, as a friend who just, answers all of the most thrilling questions that the audiences wanted to hear.
It's amazing that you want to be that somebody that can answer questions from curious online audience. Keep up with the work. And actually, I want to learn more about the social media right now. And let's say the English teaching space on the social media, it's absolutely jam-packed right now. And there are so many creators with high scores and amazing profile just like yours. So in 2026, you would think having a specialized knowledge is even enough anymore? Or is personal branding the only thing that actually set people apart?
Well, I would say that it's actually a combination of both because, like, fundamentally, we need specialized knowledge to be an English teacher or simply, deliver meaningful messages to the audiences and learners alike. So, of course, specialized knowledge is still prevalent, especially in today's content creation, related to English online teaching. However, I would say that combining personal branding would also be beneficial because I feel like, how you present yourself online is equally crucial. Maybe you do have the specialized knowledge that will determine your eligibility when you teach English to others, but your interactiveness or friendliness also matters as well. So I would say that the ability of an individual to engage with the general public will actually determine their success when it comes to, teaching English online to other people. So, like to sum up, I would like my opinion would just be personal branding is crucial, specialized knowledge is also crucial. I think a combination of both will make you stand out from the crowd.
Thank you. And it's actually not one of a kind anymore since there are many people who studies for IELTS who also join debate tournaments. And Khánh Phương, you actually got the scores, the debating trophies, and the content. And it's actually a lot for someone your age. And what's the biggest assumption people make about you because of that perfect profile?
Well, I would not say I'm perfect at all because, like, I mean, wouldn't everybody say so? But actually, my videos, there are still a lot of mistakes. Flaws still happens, and my viewers who are dedicated viewers, they still notice certain flaws in my videos, and they still give me really meaningful feedback so I can improve during the next videos as well. And when it comes to assumptions, I mean, there are a lot, not just in the online world, but also in reality as well. And actually, I think the biggest assumption would be, other people, especially friends my age or people around my age, they think that I don't have a social life, like I'm completely different, or that I'm not very friendly when it comes to offline interaction. And it's really funny whenever somebody sees me offline and they want like a picture or they want some, interaction. And they always say the first sentence, "Oh, you're so friendly offline." And I would say, yeah, I am. But, that's the assumption that a lot of people they make about me. Of course, there are even worse assumptions, but I mean, like, negativity is one of the most normal things when it comes to, the digital world or content creation as well. But yeah, I mean, like, over time, some of my dedicated viewers, they, care more about me and they started to realize that no one is actually perfect online. What really matters is the way that you present yourself and how you are able to overcome your flaws and mistakes.
To be honest, I was also amazed by how friendly you are. And I think everybody would expect a teenager star on the television would act what you've already mentioned before, a little bit mean, or they're just a little bit proud about their achievements and they decided that they can actually act mean in front of people. And would you ever hide parts of your true identity just to make sure your branding stays consistent? And where do you actually draw the line between adapting to what the internet wants and actually losing yourself?
Well, it would depend on how we would actually identify what is a filtered. I mean, like, it would depend a lot on what our true identity would really be. But as I previously mentioned, I think that for me personally, the key to not to success, but to make it long term in as an influencer or as somebody who wants to post videos online is authenticity. It is a keyword that I mentioned a lot in previous answers as well. But I believe that each individuals will find different ways to align their interest regarding idea development. So it's up to that person as to which how they will present themselves. But for me, like how I present myself, I believe that it's probably the most accurate version because, you know, like the filter or the shell that you cover yourselves will eventually break, and it's not really a long-term, tactics when it comes to content creation. And for the second question, like, would I personally draw the line between adapting to the internet and losing my identity? I would actually want to briefly touch on the concept of the digital self. Like, this concept basically refers to the persona that we as individuals create and maintain through our online activities. Like, it includes the photos we share, the comments we make, and even the content that we engage with on various platforms. So it's a lot different from our offline identity. Like, in our offline identity, it is shaped by our physical presence, of course, and our real life interaction. However, when it comes to this line, I believe it's a very fine line between our digital self and our offline self. So, for instance, our digital self, it is very carefully curated. It's not just anybody, but just imagine when you want to post a video, like, or a picture, for example, you want that picture to be perfect, no flaws, and that's just basically the human's mindset when it comes to, posting anything online. So in online, we have basically the opportunity to control how we are perceived. We choose what aspect of our lives that we want to highlight and how we communicate and how we even curated ourselves. And this line, I believe, actually occurs when our digital self begins to basically overshadow the offline self, which can basically cause, internal conflicts or replace the real world relationships with, you know, a lot of other superficial online interactions. So this line basically identify a person who is basically addicted to maintaining their idealized or curated persona to a person who prefers something authentic and unique. So I think it's like a pretty long answer, but basically that's what I want to, express when it comes to this very invisible line.
Thank you for sharing some very interesting information about persona and also things aligned with that. Funny question, have you ever posted unwanted content? Or, in other words, contents that drift away from your true personality because of online traffic?
I would not say so. Like, I wouldn't say that I have posted content that isn't myself or is unwanted, but definitely I have posted content that is trendy, that is like that fits with the majority of people. And I feel like there's actually nothing wrong with a person who wants to post trendy videos if you really want to engage with it. So, yeah, the answer is no. I haven't really posted anything that is unaligned with what I'm interested in.
Thank you. Now, I really wanted to ask about your journey of making online content. So, for the people listening who want to start their own journey of making content online, what is something that most people think is actually a huge deal and it's actually important when making videos online, but actually doesn't matter at all? What's your perspective on this?
Hmm. I would say that I'm not really an expert or anything when it comes to content creation because I feel like most of the time I post videos really out of the blue. I don't like for me, I don't have a posting schedule. My posting schedule is really inconsistent, unlike other professionals. So I don't think I'm really fit for giving advice, but what I can give is, of course, my own perspective. So I believe that when you want to post content, it's up to you. I mean, like, there are different individuals. Some want to make it big as an influencer. Like, going to different shows, fashions, etc. But others, they just want to share their daily lives simply because they enjoy doing so, or they want to build their own persona online. And I completely agree with it. Each person will have different purpose when they go on social media. But I think the end goal here is that you're able to identify your value, your purpose on what you really want to achieve when you go there. Maybe you want to teach people something. You want to show people your everyday lives. There are various content on social media that you can actually pursue. So there are like 4 requirements, not really requirements, but 4 things that people they can look into when it comes to, your perspective in content creation. Is it the right path? You don't really have to be consistent with it if you don't feel like it. I believe that this is something that can only be successful or that can only be long term when you find the interest and find the passion in doing so. It should not be a burden that you have to, like, for example, fulfill a posting schedule or keep up with viewers. It should not be like that. That's like my own perspective. And secondly, is to find your own uniqueness because that's like extremely important. You don't want to like replicate others' content. Like, there's nothing wrong with replication, but I believe that as individuals, we have different ways to, present ourselves, different ways to deliver messages, and most importantly, different ways to, identify ourselves from other people, how we, brand our own personality and how we are able to overcome our previous mistakes or obstacles. So to sum up with all of this, I believe that for those who want to, post videos, whether for fun or whether they just want to make it big, it all boils down to their consistency if they want to, achieve it, pursue it. And secondly is their actual goals when making videos.
And actually, let's flip things up a little bit. And what is actually something that is totally underrated that made the biggest difference for you?
Can you like identify what do you mean by underrated?
I mean, what is something that most people doesn't think that is matters or it doesn't make a big deal, but is actually important during your journey of making online content?
I would say it's your target audience because I know that online there are so many, like, there are people from all walks of life. Young kids, teenagers, even adults, or even the elderly, they can just, watch all types of content online. But regardless, it is still equally crucial to identify your target audience. Like, who do you want to deliver this message to? Who do you think will be interested in your content? Because I feel like defining and determining that can actually transform your entire journey. You feel like you'll have more purpose in making videos. So for me, I think my target audience are a lot. It can be teenagers, people around my age, above my age, or even parents who are also interested in, self-studying or other related content. So when you are able to identify your audience, the people that you target and you want them to pay attention to, you can, curate it or kind of like fix your content according to their interest as well. And most importantly is your own authentic taste or your own experience during like message delivery is also crucial.
Actually, you mentioned a lot about authenticity. So how do you actually stay real when you know you're constantly being watched, judged, and measured by a number on a screen? I mean, by a number of people.
That is something that's really hard to, I would say, keep up when it comes to, negativity or people's judgment. Like, whether you're so mature or whether you have the capacity to just neglect it, it is still really hard because comments or judgment will just fly to your face. But I believe that for me personally, fortunately, I have a very supportive environment. So I have my parents, or especially my mom. She usually, basically she manages some parts of my content creation. So it really helps with these negativity. But for others who don't really have someone who consistently support them, I would say that to stay real is something that needs a lot of practicing. It's not something that you can achieve just from day one. So I don't really have a message or an advice for this personally, but I would just say that focus on what you're good at, focus on the positive. What you're able to achieve is something that other people can really appreciate from you because you still have a lot of other people who appreciate your content, who wants you to keep going and keep trying no matter the results. So I think a positive mindset would really help when it comes to content creation.
Thank you for sharing such helpful advice. Looking back at your journey, you have a lot of people that can possibly back you up, your parents and also your dedicated viewers. But I think you also encountered a lot of challenges. So if you could restart your journey today with everything you know now, what would you do differently?
I mean, I think the journey and the process is something that's really valuable. So I would not do much differently because I feel like it's what makes me and also the process that goes along with it. Because to be honest, my first ever posted video is just basically my grandma reciting poems. And then I have no idea why I started to completely change to, English content, studying content, motivational content. I cannot remember how I did that. But I believe that if I were to do something different, I would say to keep a positive mindset from the very start because straying from your original goals can happen no matter how positive you may be. But that's just one simple thing, but I would not change a thing because the process really matters and how you learn from your past mistakes is what makes you a better version of yourself.
That was the energy that I want to hear from you. You feel, you must feel very proud of your process and your journey. It's like a roller coaster. I know some days, but it's very lovely for you to see your process and to see it with pride. And last question for you. Imagine a world where artificial intelligence could craft a perfect and highly engaging personal brand for you in just 1 second, like a total cheat code. And would you actually take that pre-built success, or would you still choose to go through the hardship and the failures of building it yourself from scratch?
That's a hard choice. If you asked me that question when I was little, I would choose the first option. But artificial intelligence, great. It has completely transformed how we engage with online content and how we engage with everyday matters. But of course, like I have previously said, it's certainly, artificial intelligence or other AI tools have certainly assisted me throughout, ideas development, not just in content, but also in studying. But I would still stick to the old fashioned way, which is starting from the root, how I build it from day one. Because, the process and the people supporting you actually motivates you to try harder. And, appreciation is something that I'm always aiming for whenever I do something. So I'm forever grateful for my supportive environment and also my own dedication to this journey. Without them or without my long-term commitment, these would not have been possible. So yeah, I would definitely opt for the second option.
It's very impressive for me, and I think most viewer as well, that you actually made the cut and became viral for your English posting content. And to wrap things up, our guest Cảnh Phương really proved that in 2026, in the digital age, just being smart or having a high IELTS score isn't just the full story. You need that mix of expertise and a personality that actually clicks with people or the audience. And it is so refreshing to hear that the perfect profile is a total myth and that even the top creators make mistakes and get corrected by their viewers, and they definitely still have a social life despite what people assume. The biggest takeaway for me was that Cảnh Phương personal brand is just a collection of what you choose to share, and you only lose yourself when that digital persona starts to feel heavier than your real life. So for everyone that's listening, stop stressing about your personal gear or having a perfect posting schedule. Like Kang Fung just have mentioned, just focus on your specific purpose and find your unique, unfiltered angle and talk to your specific audience. Building a brand isn't just about being a perfect robot, it's about being yourself with the volume turned up. A huge thank you to our guests for keeping it 100% with us today. Thanks for staying and for sharing this moment with us. Whether you're heading to sleep or stepping into a new day, I hope you carry this with you, the reminder that your voice matters and it always has a place somewhere. Find the mic, unmute the real you. I'm Javi and this is From Mind to Mic. See you in the next episode.